Hey, it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of American Legion Radio at the United States Military Academy at West Point. I have a chance to talk to three of the seniors that are going to graduate this week and commission into the United States Army. And let's first say hello to Kerriann Murphy, who is from West Sayville. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Thank you.
Great. Why did you decide to enroll at West Point?
My uncle is a graduate of the class of 1993, so he introduced me to the whole idea and inspired me to come here.
Very good. And we have our friend Dillon Burke, who is from New York. What part of New York City are you from, Dillon?
I'm from Manhattan, but I grew up on Long Island, Rockville Center.
Oh, that's great. And why did you decide to enroll at West Point?
I met a really great mentor in high school who went here, so he kind of inspired me to come.
That's great. And we have our third cadet, Matt Figura. Matt, great to see you. You're from Queens. Why did you decide to enroll at West Point?
I actually went to the same high school as Dillon. We were close friends in high school, and we were taught by the same mentor. So he inspired both of us to attend West Point.
Okay, very good. And we'll just ask you each. Start with Kerry. A little bit about what were some of the biggest hurdles that you had to overcome here at West Point. All the different things that you're involved. What was kind of a big challenge for you?
Neither of my parents were in the military, so just the basic adjustment into military life was a big hurdle for me.
Very good. And I know you were in a very special activity, a very challenging one. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. I was the captain of the Triathlon team here. We did really well this year. We had our national competition back in April down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We came in 8th in the nation.
Wow, that's great. What event did you do in that?
We do all three. Everyone does all three: swim, bike, and run.
Oh wow, that's a lot. And just we'll ask Dillon again. What did you find as a big challenge you had to overcome here to succeed at West Point?
Well, besides adapting to all the military stuff, like Kerriann said, probably gymnastics class was pretty difficult for me.
What did you have to do in gymnastics class?
Nothing I really ever wanted to do, but tumbling, high bars, stuff like that. It's a graduation requirement, so it's probably the tougher of the DPE classes here.
Yeah. What was your academic major?
I was an international relations major, so political science.
That's great. What was your best experience in studying international?
I got to go on an AIAD, which is kind of like a trip abroad. So I was in Thailand for about a month, just kind of learning their culture and what their political systems was like. And then I wrote a thesis on Southeast Asia, so it was, kind of interesting.
Very good. And Matt, tell us, what was the challenge that you had to overcome here at West Point?
I think the biggest challenge for me was being away from friends and family, and just having to adapt to this new environment, new people, new teachers, and a whole entirely new lifestyle as well.
Okay, what is your academic major?
I was management, which is the pre-business course here at West Point.
Very good. What was the best thing on studying business here at West Point that you found?
The management department brings in a lot of outside speakers, a lot of CEOs like of JP Morgan and other high and big companies just in general. The cadets get to interact a lot with those CEOs and learn a lot from them.
Very good. And I just want to ask Kerriann a little bit. What did you study here academically? What was your major?
I was a Spanish major, sir.
Okay. And what was an element of studying Spanish here at West Point that you really appreciated?
I had the chance to study abroad, so I spent 6 months at the Chilean Military Academy in South America. It was one of the most rewarding experiences I've had at West Point.
Wow. What was one of the experiences that you had there that really stands out for you?
So we had a mountain warfare course with their third-year cadets, and that was really interesting because we don't get any kind of cold weather combat training here at West Point just because of where we are. So that was cool to learn how to ski and cross-country ski with your pack on and everything like that.
Well, you have cold weather experience in January and February here, I think, marching up and down these hills at West Point. Now, let me ask each of you what part of the Army you're going to go to and what would you like to do there? Kerriann?
I branched into the transportation course, sir, and I'll be going down to Fort Hood after my basic officer course.
The great place, I call it, Fort Hood. We have a lot of friends down there, and our best wishes to you there. And just to ask Dillon, what part of the Army are you going to? Where are you going to be serving in your first stop?
I'll be commissioning into the Air Defense Artillery, and I'm hoping to work on the THAAD missile systems, and I'll also be going to Fort Hood, so hanging out in the great place after graduation.
Well, that's a new high-tech system. My dad worked, when he was an Army officer, worked on air defense artillery in the 1950s when Nike was called a missile instead of before it was a running shoe. Our best wishes, and our last cadet, Matt. What part of the Army are you heading to?
I branch infantry, and I'm going down to Fort Benning for a basic officer leader course. Infantry, go to airborne school, ranger school, and then followed by Fort Bragg after all that.
Well, our best wishes to you on that, and just a quick thought. Just a quick thought about support from family and your friends back home. Kerriann?
I would never have made it to this point if I didn't have all the support from my family and friends.
Absolutely. And Dillon, what about what's your family going to be? How proud are they going to be to come to graduation on Saturday?
Oh, my mom's been talking about it all week, or really all year, or all 4 years, but I wouldn't be here without my family, especially my mom and dad, so.
Absolutely, and Matt, tell us about your family's support.
I absolutely agree with all that. I want to thank my mom, my grandma, my younger brother, and my family from Poland who have supported me for the past 4 years. I could not have made it this far without them.
Well, I just like to say, as I had two uncles who went to West Point in the 1930s. One graduated, became a general. One didn't graduate. He served with my dad in the New York National Guard and ended up serving at the Battle of the Bulge. How proud we are of all of you, and really on behalf of the 4 million families and veterans and sons and auxiliary in the American Legion, just want to really wish you the best on your commissioning and careers in the great United States Army. Good to see you. Have a great day Saturday. From the United States Military Academy for Sons of the American Legion Radio, this is Ken Kraetzer.